See?
Oh.
Hello and welcome back to the Still Working On It podcast. As you guys know by now, what we do is we interview young entrepreneurs who are living abroad, primarily for now in Southeast Asia, but anywhere abroad, doing either an online business or something that they can do from here to sustain a life out in a country such as this. We're in Vietnam currently, specifically in Da Nang. Today, as you may have noticed, we do not have any guests. We went from one guest the week before last, 2 guests last week, and today we have none. Our guest pulled out last minute due to sickness. Hope he recovers soon. However, we're going to keep going, and we've decided what we're going to do in this episode is we're going to do a sort of wee reflection on our last few episodes, and we're going to talk about the sort of trends we've noticed in the sort of entrepreneurs we've interviewed, like what's been different, what's helped them get where they are, what's set them apart from people that try and don't succeed in business, as they've all been quite successful. So we're going to have a wee talk down that. What's your thoughts on introducing that, Bruce?
So yeah, as Aidan said, we speak about business and other entrepreneurs and what they're doing, but we also usually talk about the character development of how they got there. And as Aidan was saying, we tried to film up on the roof of the hotel across the road, but it was too busy. But you know what we thought? We thought, we're still working on it. We don't miss. Let's go across the road, at the side of the road, to film this. And yeah, mate.
This may look quite professional, but I can tell you it's not. There's a very nice view. It's a very nice city here, but we are on the side of a pavement, and we're getting some smiles from locals and also some funny looks from other locals.
But yeah, we don't care, we're the guys.
Diving into it. So last week we had 2 very young entrepreneurs, and that was kind of what kind of stood out to us, is they were 18, 19 years old, and they were out, they'd already started 3 businesses, one of them, when he was 13, 14 years old, and then he'd moved over to somewhere like Thailand, somewhere in Southeast Asia, and he was reflecting on his failures and his successes when he was younger, he was saying, but he was only 18 years old. So that really got us thinking, if someone that young can go and start a business and do something, work remotely, live abroad, that a lot of people want to do, how can other people do it? What can they learn from that? So, and it was also, the week before that, we had Charlie on. Was it Charlie the week before?
No, Stavio.
Stavio, yeah. So we had Stavio on the week before, Charlie the week before that. So all very different businesses. Stavio is doing a sort of digital marketing agency. He's also written a book. Charlie the week before that is doing drop shipping and is doing quite well, and he's doing a YouTube channel as well talking about that. So a lot of very different people from a lot of very different industries, but all doing business that's sustaining a lifestyle, living abroad and working and living here. So I kind of, as I was talking to the last guys we had on, I was noticing trends and what kind of made them successful. And so one simple trend from one of them was they had a positive sort of influence in his life. So one of the guys said he had his dad was a very good influence. He sort of taught him that in life you've got to go out and get your work. Like it's not going to come to you on a plate. You've got to go out and get it, and you work until it's done, and then that's it. And then the other guy that we're interviewing, he was saying that his positive influence was someone he met in Thailand. He met an older guy, 35, who kind of just showed him the ropes, like showed him how to get into business, showed him how to like dress and speak respectably. So that was one trend I noticed from them, is they all had good positive influences. Another
they all had. Don't jump like from trend to trend. It's gonna be 2 minutes long. But yeah, they all had mentors and someone to look up to. And a mentor doesn't mean someone who's miles ahead, printing cash, running a massive big corporate business. Just someone who's a few steps ahead. Like as Aidan was saying, Alex's dad told him he has to get up and get after it. Charlton, the other people who were doing coaching in the same environment that he was doing, and just showing that it's possible. So if you're someone who wants to get out and start a business, just find people who are already doing it. And we're probably in the easiest day and age of finding those people. Instagram, LinkedIn. Does anyone use Facebook anymore? I don't know. But all these things, like, they're everywhere. Like, just send someone a little message and yeah, they might not reply. On to the next one. There's thousands of people out there who are willing to help you. Even message, maybe you want to buy your first property, message Aidan. Maybe you want to figure out how to escape your rubbish life and do the exit plan, do something else, message me. But yeah, as you were saying.
Yeah, so on the flip side, yes, focusing on this first trend, because on the flip side of having positive influences, we actually got the other side of that from Stavio. So Stavio was saying that he had the other side of that, where he was trying to kind of be a people pleaser, he called it, like play to the sort of the needs of everyone around him. And so he was actually, that was negatively influencing him, because he was doing whatever other people told him to do, whatever made other people happy, and then going by their influence, and the effect of that was that he was never getting anything he wanted to do done, and he was never really getting anywhere. He was just kind of going along with the flow. So that's the kind of flip side of having a positive influence. You can also have negative influences in your life. So it's just recognizing the impact of influence. And I think you've spoke about before in your stuff that you, like when you were just going with the flow, that was a big kind of negative for you.
A drifter.
A drifter, yeah.
Yeah, but and the same with Charlie. He saw people in his school that were doing dropshipping and being successful from it, and he wanted to be in around those sorts of people. So yeah, like that. Trend number 1: surround yourself with people who are out doing the thing that you want to do.
Yeah, and even just speaking to your friends that you've got, your existing social circles, a lot of the time if you bring up business or anything like that up to certain people, they'll actually be right into it. They'll support you and be interested in it. A lot of people have an assumption that everyone's going to poo-poo your ideas, but if you don't start talking to people you know,
Poo-poo your
that's the best way to say it. If you don't start talking to people you know, you'll never know. So yeah, start with that. If that doesn't work, like Bruce says, reach out to other people on Instagram, on any sort of social media, and just find that network. So that actually links to. So
quickly before we move on. And Aidan saying speaking to your friends, blah blah blah. Yeah, they might support it, but if they don't support it, some people like stop there. Like they stay in that bubble and they go, oh, it's never going to work. Just because those people you're currently around don't think like you doesn't mean that other people don't exist. Yeah. Like they're actually everywhere. You just need to go out and look for them. Anyway,
and these trends all actually link to something I studied at university. So I did a master's degree at St Andrews Uni, and I did barriers to entrepreneurship was my focus. So I focused on what stops people from starting a business that they want to start, the barriers to entrepreneurship. And all the trends that we're seeing and interviewing these people all actually link and correlate with the trends I was seeing then. So I can maybe put up the graph of the figure that I made from that. But the trend that this relates to was positive social networks. I'm going to actually check my notes. Give me 2 seconds. I'll actually put this up on the screen when we're doing it.
Pop it up on the screen.
Right here. So yeah, friend-based social networks. So that's actually, this is from, like I did a sort of literature review of all the kind of PhD scholars and just people in research in general that have researched why people don't start businesses, and I put them all into a figure which gave all the different reasons why people don't. And so one of them was friend-based social networks. So if you surround yourself in a friend-based social network of people that are into business, that has been proven actually in research to lead to a much higher likelihood of you then going ahead and starting that business. So that's trend number 1. Trend number 2 that I noticed was what?
Well, I do it.
Yeah, go.
Okay, so trend number 2, and this is actually the same with me and Aidan. Everyone was unhappy and found it painful to be where they were.
Yeah.
For example, Stavio said he did every single job under the sun. I just remember the popcorn one. Yeah. Charlie was doing disability support work. Yeah. Charlton was working for the uni. Alex was in Sainsbury's stacking shelves. Yeah. I was in a town that didn't work. Didn't like working for my dad's business. Aidan was in a big corporate job, and I feel like this can be a trap where, so enough pain to push you away from that life to go to where you want to be. But most people just focus on, oh yeah, this is shit, this is not what I like, oh blah blah blah, this is awful, this is awful. Yeah, cool, that's a good starting point, but if you stay there, that just fills it all with negativity. So the question that all of us asked, right, cool, once you've analysed what you don't like, what is better than this? What would I want my life to look like? And it's like the whole law of polarity, like the yin and yang. The negative stuff, focus on the positive of what you actually want to go ahead and achieve, and that's the focus.
The way that Stavio put it was like, if you feel that something's not for you and it's not like your calling, and you can tell that this isn't where you should be in life, the way that the kind of last 2 guys on last week's episode described it is that you kind of get to like a boiling point where you don't like this, you don't like this, you don't like this, and then but for some people that can take like 3 to 5 years where they get to the boiling point where they're like, no, I can't do this anymore, it has to change. But with them it only took like a few months. So for a lot of people, rather than waiting until you get that boiling point where it's too much to bear, you can just take a kind of reflection of where you are now and realise, right, is this something I'm going to do long term? Is this really what I should be doing with my life? Or is there something else I can do? And then the key point is do something else. So like the guys that we interviewed last week, a big part of what they were saying is the kind of the pain point, the push factor that brought them away from doing what they were doing was actually just living in the UK. So like, not to get into too many details, but like obviously a lot of people aren't liking the sort of the way the UK is just now, and they want to move to somewhere else. So that was something that kind of brought them to that boiling point. They were like, right, I'm not liking living where I am, I want to get out here and live somewhere else. So that was the factor for them. So it could be any factor, it's not necessarily just in your work. If you're not liking the country you're living in, that can be a big enough push factor to get you out to somewhere else.
but then focusing on the country you actually want to go to.
Yeah, flipping your focus, yeah.
And like actually doing the research into it. For example, well, I didn't know much about Vietnam before I came. You'd been here before, so you kind of knew what it was like. Blah, blah, blah. I had some other points, but you say what you're going to say.
Well, let me see if this relates to my figure in any way. Motivate. Yeah, so the trend number 2 from my figure is motivation. So this is essentially it, because it can be both, again, like we said about the last trend, it can be both positive and negative. There's a flip side to both of it. So it can be positive motivation to go out and do the business, move country, do what you want to do, or it can be the other side, which is getting to a boiling point where you're so motivated to get out of where you are currently that you go and do it. So motivation works like same as the last trend, works both ways. You're either motivated to go out and do the different thing, or motivated to escape where you are now.
I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
Do you think the boiling point is a must? Because I feel like it's kind of like when you're in a relationship and you get heartbroken. A lot of people use that as fuel to do whatever they want to do.
Yeah, that's their boiling point.
Do you think that you need to have a boiling point? I think 90% of people do.
Yeah, and I say a lot of people do, but this actually kind of leads on to the next trend. But I would say it's if you're the kind of person that reflects on your life regularly and reflects on what you should be doing and your situation and where you're looking to go in the future, and if you constantly reflect, I wouldn't say you need a boiling point. But if you're someone that doesn't reflect and you very much kind of go with the flow, you're a drifter, then you probably would need something like that to make a big change.
Yeah.
What would you say? 90% of people would.
I think you need a boiling point. I think it's important. Like, I talk about this all the time, the pain and pleasure, the pain of staying the same has to outweigh the pain of putting in the work.
Yeah. So, the next trend, and it actually is, again, very relevant to the guys we've spoke to over the last few weeks. So, it's internal locus of control. Which, in Bruce's language, is a lofty word.
No, I studied that at uni.
Did you actually?
Yeah.
Right, okay, so Bruce, it's not a lofty word. So, internal locus of control, because thinking about that...
You explain the internal, I'll do external.
Right, okay, well, in the business research I did, internal locus of control basically is defined as the level to which you feel you have control over your actions, which you can take that as deep or as shallow as you want, because it goes very deep, but it also can be kept quite shallow. But it basically means some people genuinely don't think they have much control over their actions. They genuinely think they are just a drifter and they're a sort of victim to their circumstances, which I find interesting. And it can go, like some people really think they can't change their actions. And from speaking to the guys we've spoke to, all of them, I just got a local looking at our camera, all of them had a very strong internal locus of control, I would say. Like Charlie just went out and did it, moved country, left Australia, came here before he'd even started. Those two guys went and just did it. Stavio as well, just wrote a book.
We've done it
off his cuff. Yeah, we've came out here. So internal locus of control is 100% a very big factor. Right, what were you going to say, the negative side of it?
So the internal locus of control is what you want, but the other side of that is external locus of control. So I studied this when I was studying sports at uni, and the easiest way to put it is, say you're a 100-meter sprinter and you come third in your race. Internal locus of control: oh, I didn't train hard enough, I didn't be on top of my diet, I missed training sessions. That's everything that was within your control of why you lost the race. External locus of control could be, my shoes weren't tied tight enough, I'm wearing the wrong size spikes, I was in the wrong lane. Like, that's just giving the power away. You want to be able to harness the power of being in control. Hopefully that made sense.
Yeah, no, that made sense, yeah. Like, so it's you can look at it internal and external, like looking at the two flip sides, or it is just like the way it's like talked about in business.
Put it into the sense of like the guy behind this who's in a life he doesn't like.
Well, yeah, because that's what it was studied. So the whole point of this figure that I made in my uni, my master's degree, was that these are all things that you can work on that have literally been shown in research that if you do work on them, increase your likelihood of starting a business based on interviewing people and then interviewing them a year later if they'd implemented them and if it led to them starting businesses. So internal locus of control is something you can change. It's I can't remember the techniques and ways they recommended you do it, but it's basically just realizing that you do have autonomy, you do have free will, like you do have control over your actions. Yeah. So if you're sitting feeling that you have to do this job because someone's told you do, or even if you've spent 3 years in uni working towards a degree, you can still get your degree and then you can still do something else after. A lot of people.
You chose to go to uni.
Yeah, exactly.
You chose to
you
go
made that decision.
You chose to apply for those jobs.
And even if someone someone told you to do it, they didn't force you with a gun, probably, to go to uni. So
if they did, you should probably get some help.
yeah, to take your internal locus of control and go to a lawyer. But yeah, it's like it's kind of just a realization, just coming to terms that you can change your actions, and like you can do little steps, like we talked about in one of our previous episodes.
I'll get super lofty after this.
Right, we talked about in one of our previous episodes that it doesn't need to be huge steps. Like building up a sort of track record can be a really strong way of building up an internal locus of control. So if you just like keep your job, keep doing what you're doing, but just contribute, say like £100 a month or £50 a month to going and doing a wee side hustle, however small that may be, any sort of work for yourself, even just like selling it doesn't even need to be selling a small product, it's just doing a service. Like you could do like a car detailing business, just go around people's houses, say, can I clean your car for 20 quid? Like any sort of wee tiny business, build up a track record in your head that you can do it, and that will reinforce your internal locus of control, help you build an internal locus of control, which then, if you have that, is a big factor towards then going and starting a business. Because being an entrepreneur, you don't have a boss. That is a big flip to being an entrepreneur. Like you're doing it all on your own. So if you don't have the self-autonomy, authority to go out and get things done, tick off all your tasks for the day, you're going to struggle. It is a very big part of it. Bruce will now hit us with some lofty words.
Yeah, so I'm going to try and make this seem as simple as possible. So basically, how you get an internal locus of control, that is when your life actually starts to change. But the one thing that you need to become aware of is you actually are not who you think you are. For example, you are the observer of your actions. Everything that you do, you kind of run it on autopilot, like NPC, but as soon as you understand that everything that you've done is a chain reaction of different choices that you make, it's all a decision. Like you're just observing it. You can choose which lane to jump to and choose which character you're going to show up as. Are you going to, you can choose, am I going to keep being the character who goes to a job he hates, or am I going to take the small step and maybe just go online and look at other jobs? And then that's just like the chain reaction of jumping doof, 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 doof. Like it's kind of hard. So you are not who you think you are, you're who you're choosing to be in that current moment, and you actually have the choice to change it. Does that make sense?
Kind of, yep. And it also links on to the next factor. So the next factor, or the next trend, is implementation intention. So with some of these, I'm kind of picking them from the figure.
That's lofty.
It's lofty, yeah. I'm picking it from the figure, but when I think about the interviews we've done, it all does link up and correlate with what we've seen, and all the guys have done it. So implementation intention, I'll try and make it simple, is essentially, right, you've got an intention. You want to do something. You want to go live abroad. You want to start a business. Implementation intention then adds an action to that intention. So it's like, instead of just saying, oh, I want to do that, it says you add like a situational element. So it's like, right, a very simple example that I used in my research was, if I get a loan, I'm going to apply for loans. If I get a loan, I will do the business. So that's obviously a very simplified version. And
I don't think that's an external control.
Kind of, yeah. But the whole thing in the research is it's a psychological thing, that if you link it to an external thing, obviously you have to put in the action to apply for the loans and stuff. But if you link it to an external outcome, it then makes it automatic in your mind. Like, because everyone's like, oh, I'm going to start a business, I'm going to do it today. Oh no, I'm going to do it next week. Oh no, I'm too sick. Oh no, I'm going to do it this week. Like, everyone does that and goes round and round and round. But if you link it to an external environment, like, if I get the loan, I start the business, it becomes automatic in your brain, and it just kind of bypasses the whole fear of like making the big step. Well, then you make another one. Each one is an implementation intention. So if you don't get it, you just do another implementation intention.
So yeah, have a backup.
Yeah, you can do multiple implementation intentions, but the whole point of it is it just makes it automatic. It's kind of like when you get in a routine at the gym. Like, if you start going to the gym regularly and you're going to go there every day, and you go at like 11 a.m, it turns 11 a.m, you go. You don't even think about it, and that's kind of the thing. It's getting it so that it takes all the fear and all the pressure off of you, and instead places it onto the environment. So it kind of like what you're saying, like internal and external, but it's a bit different. It just makes the decision process automatic based on something that happens that you line up. Yeah. So all of the guys, I would say, kind of did that. Charlie particularly I'm thinking about, because he was saying he wanted...
We're filming a podcast here.
Come on, guys. He wanted to do drop shipping, and he was like thinking about how he's going to do it. He looked into courses, and then eventually saw his friends were doing it. Got a lot of locals waving at us. Can you get a clip of them for the video? No.
Nah, wait up.
So he wanted to do it.
I can't. It's weird filming kids.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe not. But a lot of guys wanting to do it, and so yeah, he wanted to do it. He was thinking about how he could do it, and he saw his friends had done courses and stuff. So that's what he did. He was like, right, he had a course in mind, and he's like, right, if I see success from this,
going back to that.
Yeah, a mentorship. Yeah, he was like, if I see success from this, I'll do it. And then he saw one of his friends did it, and then he saw another friend did it, and he's like, right, it's done. So in his head, it became automatic. He was like, right, if I see success from this, I'll do it. He saw two of his friends do it, and then it was like, right, he's doing it. And then, can you think of any examples of that with the other guys, like Stavio or the last two guys? Any example where they said, like, if this happens, or like they implemented the intention?
No.
Right, well, Charlie was the prime example of that. Maybe it's not much of a trend, but Charlie definitely embodied that, where he was like, right, he set his mind on, right, if this course he sees success in it, he'll do it. And then the course saw two friends and he did it.
What I just think, maybe it's switching the topic slightly, is like, if someone else has done it, why can you not do it? We're all human.
Yeah.
That's just kind of like why I decided to want to go and do it. Just even though I didn't know people personally, I saw them on YouTube.
Yeah. Well, that's something I saw from my like corporate job. Was that like the guy that I worked for a startup first, and the guy that started it was just in finance, just in like a normal job similar to the one I was in. And then he just went like, right, I'm going to start this business, and then he sold it for millions. But like, yeah, when you speak to CEOs, like especially because it was a small business, you kind of spoke to them a bit more personally. When you speak to people at that level, you realise they're just working out and like they're working on it. Yeah. Like they'll actually sometimes ask for your advice, even as a fresh new employee, because you've got a different perspective to them. So they are really just working out themselves as they go.
So that was like kind of today. We won't go too much into it. But for example, Aidan's talking about like what he wants to do with his YouTube. He's got one lens on like how his YouTube looks. But me and Aidan are so different. So even him asking for my perspective what I think he should be doing is something that we can do with like your friend group also.
Yeah. But bouncing ideas off people is always a brilliant way to do it. I mean, it's the same as like networking and just brainstorming. It's like these are big business terms that you hear in uni and stuff and in corporate jobs, but it is literally just saying to your friend, what do you think about this? Like when I'm in business, when I'm doing my property stuff, or when I'm over in America doing other property stuff, it is all just about asking questions. Like I just say to people in an office or wherever, like, what do you think about this? Like, what's your thoughts? Like just getting that, like, because people call it fancy names and it kind of like makes it seem like you can't do it and it's like closed off because it's like networking and blah 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 blah, but it is literally just asking people, what do you think about this? Getting a second opinion, because when you get stuck in a thought, like a lot of people can get quite closed-minded and just be like, right, this is the way, this is how I'm going to do it, when really like when you bring someone in from the outside, it gives a completely different perspective. It will like highlight things you've not seen. It's a very valuable way of just getting ideas out in business.
I think that's how you win in life, not even just business. Just ask questions. Even ask yourself questions. Like that's actually the magic sauce. Ask more questions.
And if you ask,
that's who the successful people have got where they are. They don't know everything. Like in the reel I made the other day. Act like you know everything. You don't.
Well, I was about to make a point that kind of goes against that. I was going to say, don't ask stupid questions, but at the start, ask stupid questions. Ask any questions. There are no stupid questions. But like if you're trying to grow in business and do things like that, if you ask someone that's in a business some like quite critical questions about their business, they'll be really impressed. And like that's how a lot of people get jobs. Is like they're just networking with someone at a networking event again, and they'll ask someone about what they're doing, and then if you ask just like quite a kind of critical question about like how a business is going, how they're doing in a certain market, they'll be very impressed by that, and that's how a lot of people get jobs at networking events.
Have you seen that clip of some YouTuber with Elon Musk? And then he asks him a question, it's like, how does the rocket do this? And then he's like, wait, blah, blah, blah. And then he like changes the whole plan of what he was going to do with the rocket just from that one guy's question. And you could argue that Elon Musk is here and this guy's here. But that one question was like, no stupid questions. Yeah, but that's the whole thing about people getting like closed-minded, is that when you focus so heavily into just like you're working on your business, you're working on whatever your thing is, and you get so like tunnel visioned into that, sometimes it takes an example like that of just a guy that's completely a novice in the field to ask a layman question, just a simple question, and that'll actually flick a switch, because when you get so focused into something, you won't think of the obvious questions. You just think, right, I know this, I do it this way, but sometimes it takes like just a very simple question for you to take a step back and look at the big picture and be like, oh yeah, that is, why am I not doing that? So good point. Do you know what's I'll say it. So another thing that I've noticed from everybody else who interviewed, everyone believed it was possible. Yeah, that's like internal locus of control. Yeah, no, but like as in like, I actually genuinely believe this. Aidan might not like this, but I believe that anything is possible. For example, there's a version of me Like, I can drive a Lamborghini if I want. There's a version of me where there's a Lamborghini parked in the drive. There's a version of Aidan who there's a, I don't know, a jet parked in his driveway. Like, there actually is. It's just like the stepping stones. Well, there's a possibility of everything actually can happen. Yeah. Like, for example, let's just say AI was like absolutely amazing. I could say, right, I want a jet in my driveway. How do I do that over the next 5 years? Like, it's like the chessboard. There's always moves to get there. Like, it's actually fact. You can actually do anything.
You have to live in an airfield.
Yeah, but it's how you have to live in an airfield. How do I get to the airfield? Okay, cool. Blah blah blah. How do I get enough money to buy the airfield? Cool. What are my skills in business? Okay, what can I do today? Bang. And that's basically what I do with like the whole coaching stuff. But it is actually fact. And some people might, like, if I say, oh, I'm gonna have a Lamborghini in the driveway, some people might think, oh, that's impossible. You'll never do that. But then there's a version of you who's got the, I don't know, the James Bond Aston Martin in the driveway. There is a way to get there. Like, do you know, actually, that's so true.
Yeah, but possible things are possible.
No, but as in, like, if you take the right steps, obviously you've got to figure out what the right steps are. If you take all the right steps, it's guaranteed to work. 100% fact. Because look, if you take all the right steps.
Right, okay. Are you going to give a money back guarantee?
Yeah, if you do absolutely everything I say.
Money back guarantee.
Yeah.
Right, the final trend, we've actually...
That's fact.
The trends... that's fact. The trends that we've noticed from the people we've interviewed have actually all come up on this graph, the research-backed graph. The final trend actually very much aligns with them and aligns with this podcast we're doing. So it is regional social capital. So what that means is your social capital, it's people around you, your network, based on your region, where you are physically in the world. And that very much applies to what we are doing and all the guests we've interviewed. So coming to a place like Da Nang, where there's so many entrepreneurs and digital nomads, that is increasing your social regional capital tenfold. Like, so that completely is exactly what we've talked about, because every single person we've talked about, obviously, has said they've come here as part of the networking, and so obviously because we've met them here. So everyone has done that we've interviewed, and it's exactly what we're talking about on our podcast. So it's a very, very relevant trend to what we are doing, because if you think about, for our instances, for example, when we're in Scotland and we're in our friends groups going to school, not a lot of people are starting businesses. Like you know, there's some people, like maybe in your social circles.
I can think of like
three. Yeah, same. Like, there's some people, but not many. But then you come to a place like this. I mean, obviously, this is like a breeding ground for entrepreneurs because everyone's doing it.
Yeah, everyone is.
You come here, and they're everywhere. So that is again one of the factors that if you're right. So a lot of the stuff we're talking about is maybe psychological and a bit like.
And then you become the small fish.
Yeah, that as well. Yeah, but a lot of the stuff we're talking about is maybe like it's a bit wishy-washy. It's a bit hard to directly apply to your life. But this one is so easily applicable. All you have to do is move yourself physically from a place where there is not a lot of entrepreneurial social regional capital to somewhere where there is, such as anywhere in Southeast Asia. There's so many, all the big cities in Southeast Asia, there's loads of co-working spaces, there's loads of people doing businesses. So that is a very fast step that you can do. Like we've been in Chiang Mai before here, we're now in Da Nang. Any of the big cities in Southeast Asia, there's places called co-working spaces, which are essentially just cafes where people go to work and they share desks and stuff. If you go to one of those, they're all working on businesses. Everyone's sitting with a laptop. There's very few people that are actually working for like remote jobs. A lot of people are actually just doing video editing, business, like Shopify stores. Like they're all doing businesses, and they all do like especially like ones we went to in Chiang Mai, like 4Cs. They're all doing like events. So if you just go there and just start talking to people at these events and just talk to people in general, you'll hear about what they're doing. You'll find your own trends of the businesses they're doing, what's working, what's like working just now, what people are doing, and then even if you've got no idea of what business you want to do and no plans or ideas, you can just take from them what they're doing, what's working for them, and just ask them again stupid questions like, right, how do you do that? Like how do I start? What was your first sale? How did you get your first sale? Just ask these obvious questions, and you'll just get to know about it, and you'll just like rub off from the people around you. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think it can like be applied to like anything in life, like not even just business. Like Atomic Habits speaks about it. It's like, say you want to get fitter. How can I get fitter? Boys. Oh yeah, yes lads, come on, let's all go to the gym. Nah, mate, I'm just playing my video games. Oh, okay. But then, how Aidan was saying, what's the word? How when you move?
Social regional capital.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Join a running club.
Yeah.
Join a gym. Like that's where like all these people are. They exist. You're just in the wrong rooms.
Yeah.
Change your room. Change your life.
And a lot of people underestimate the impact of the people you surround yourself by. It's a huge factor.
Yeah, that's what I bang on about.
It really is. Like, because like if you're in a running club, like for instance, like think about just like the micro details.
It's
like
normal for them.
It's normal for them.
But in your current room, it could be unnormal.
And if you're chatting to them, you're like, oh, what are you doing next weekend? Like, oh, I'm going to like a CrossFit, and they'll all be doing that, and they'll be like, oh, cool. But if you said that to your friends, oh, what are you doing next weekend, and they're all like, playing their games or just sitting scrolling their phones, and you see I'm doing a CrossFit, they'll be like, CrossFit, ugh. They'll like laugh at it. But
CrossFit is questionable anyway.
Exactly. Get out of a room with Bruce. But like, so they'll all be just like, sitting doing nothing, going out drinking, and then when you say, like, when they ask you what you're doing, if you said, oh, I'm going out drinking, they'll be like, oh yeah, it's brilliant. Like, it's the same as them. But if you say, oh, I'm going to go, like, maybe not CrossFit, I'm going to go to the gym, they'll be like, oh no, come drink. So it's like, it's just, there's such a huge impact of the people that you surround yourself by, and just what they are doing will just rub off on you, like a lot more than you think. A lot of people say, nah, it doesn't, but it really will. So
yeah, but the people who say it doesn't is because they've never left the room.
Yeah, they've never left the room. Yeah. If you've been in the same room, like the same friend group, same social circles your whole life, maybe changed a wee bit with your job, like going out to different jobs and stuff, you won't notice it. Like, you'll just kind of churn along with the same things. But changing your environment makes a huge difference, massive difference.
Yeah. Do you know what the RAS is?
No.
A part of your brain, the reticular activating system.
No.
Do you know what that is?
No.
So the reticular activating system is a part of your brain that finds evidence to back up your beliefs. It's basically looking for proof to make sure that belief stands. For example, it goes all the way back to like that classic, the red car theory. Like, Aidan, how many red cars do you see? Oh, I've not seen any, I wasn't looking for them. But there's one right there actually. but then now that I've told him, he's going to count them all. But so it's like the same thing. Once you have the vision, you know where you're going, you know where you want to start the business or whatever that may be. Your brain starts filtering out all the people you should speak to, all the opportunities where you can make money, all the moves that you can make to get there. Like, for a quick example, I had the vision I wanted to move to Thailand. I knew it was there. Like rather than focus on the negative, that's exactly where I wanted to go. Hadn't spoke to Aidan in years. We go on a walk, we're just having general conversation.
Chit chat.
Yeah, and Aidan goes, oh yeah, we've booked a holiday to Thailand. Someone's dropped out, do you want to come? I already knew I wanted to go to Thailand. Reticular activating system, bang, there's the opportunity, there's my door, there's my way in. But before, if I didn't even know where I was going or what I wanted to do, that would have went flying straight over my head.
That's some interesting neuroscience.
Yeah, but it can like work for anything. For example, if I want the Lambo, I'm going to scan the ways to figure out how to make money and get the Lambo. But if you don't even know what you want, you're never going to get there. If you don't even know where you're going, if you've not even put the location in the GPS, you're never going to get there. And even if you take the wrong turn, it's going to take a bit longer. What does the GPS do? Reroutes.
GPSs.
I quite like the neuroscience stuff.
Right, well.
Are you against that stuff?
Not the biggest fan, because I feel it's just kind of just tunneling in specifically on one kind of goal. I get the science back, and I've looked into it before, but it's kind of just becoming so narrow-minded on one thing. It's kind of what I was saying earlier about looking at the big picture, but.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's just the decision for the person of what they choose. For example, these people, like, they don't even know what they want. They're just saying everything's shit. As long as you have a vague idea, at least you're on some sort of path. Yeah. Rather than Napoleon Hill and the devil being the drifter. Like, otherwise, if you don't know where you're going, you're a drifter.
Yeah, well, the drifter, that goes back to the locus of control. Like, getting some self-autonomy and realising, like, because that is what kind of fascinated me when I was looking into the science of the internal locus of control. The whole point of it, and this is like in research and like academic journals, is that there's certain people that have a very low opinion of the amount of control they have over their actions, and that blew my mind. Like to really think that you don't have control over your actions really surprised me. Like to think to the point that, like, when you're doing things, it's not you in control.
No, but I actually think it just comes down to because they don't know what they want.
Potentially.
Because, like, what is there to? It's like playing the game. What's the objective of the game?
Yeah.
Like, there's obviously they're gonna have no control.
Yeah. So I mean, a good first step is take control of your life, essentially. Yeah. Like, ask yourself questions like, why am I doing this? What am I doing with my life? Why am I doing this job? Has it just been something that's been kind of pushed onto me and I've just accepted it? Because if you're just living someone else's life, like you are just drifting along, as Bruce says. So that'd be a good first step. Can you think of any other trends from the meetings, or shall we wrap up this documentary?
Have you not got any other points?
Well, that's my figure. Those 5 ones are the figure. So if you're looking to take some notes, the figure is motivation. So that's both motivation to do something else and motivation to flee from your current situation.
Pain and pleasure.
Social regional capital, the capital of the people around you. So social capital, your network, and based on where you physically are. So going to a more, the prime example in the research is like Silicon Valley. If you're trying to start a tech company, go to Silicon Valley. Go to where there is social regional capital. You got a word for that?
What?
You said pain points for the first one. You got a way of describing that?
But just everything a human does is either to run away from pain or gain pleasure. So find out what pleasure you're running towards and what pain you're running away from.
Yeah, and surround yourself with the capital. And friend-based social networks, that was the one we were saying, like, positive influences in your life. Like, some people have that, some people don't. So it's like, if you don't, speak to your friends, speak to people around you, or even if you're really struggling with all of that and you've tried all your friends, like Bruce says, just go on Instagram. There's loads of people doing business online. You can just message them.
That's why I think building a personal brand is so important.
Yeah.
For example, Charlton, the 2 boys we had in the podcast the other week, were posting the same thing and I messaged them.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not putting if you actually want to, like, become something, I personally believe you should be building a personal brand. It's literally the network central.
Yeah.
And anyway.
And those guys actually came out here, like
because they saw me in Danang.
Yeah, they were going to go to somewhere in Southeast Asia, but Bruce's like recommendation for Danang and seeing him living the lifestyle on his Instagram was their like main influence to come. So
if neither of us were posting, it wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, and you don't need to go messaging like really well-known like entrepreneurs online, just anyone like that's doing some sort of online business. If you drop them a message, half the time they will be very happy to reply. And
because it makes them feel like, oh yes, like that's the whole point. They're making the content in the first place.
Yeah, they're getting an impact, and like, and they'll be happy to share information. If you just ask very humbly, like, oh, why did you choose to live here? Like, they'll be happy to tell you because it's a big decision they've made in their life. So, definitely a good starting point.
Yeah.
Next one is internal locus of control. We've talked about that quite a lot. Just reflect, like, just do small things out of your own free will, your own intuition, or your own free will, and just go and start small businesses. Just like build up your sort of framework and just your knowledge that you do have control over your actions and you're not just drifting along.
Because you know what it is? It's like, imagine everyone's programmed and it's like they're in the loop. And it's just like the checkpoints, doof, 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 doof.
Yeah.
So even, this might sound stupid, but literally just do something today or tomorrow that breaks the loop. For example, me driving
Break
to
the
the
habit
gym.
today.
What?
That song, break the habit today or the pattern will repeat tomorrow.
Yeah. So like, for me going to meet Aidan at the gym today, I always drive the same route. And for some reason I thought, you know what, I'm going to spice things up and drive the other way. Even like something simple as that. Like,
And he met some cows.
Yeah. No, that was the last time.
Right, met some
but as in
goats.
like that, so simple, breaking the loop and out of the NPC drifter mindset, rather than just like, what would you call it, floating through.
Yeah, and it's very true. That's something actually we were speaking about recently, like bad habits, like drinking, or we'll keep it light for here, but just drinking, for example, like that will very much keep you in that loop. If you're having like, if you're drinking even just at the weekends, like if you're like, right, every weekend I'm gonna go out on Friday, and I'm gonna go out on Saturday, and I'm gonna be hungover on Sunday, and then I'm gonna work all throughout the week just to get the money to sustain that. That will absolutely keep you in that loop. So you'll just be in a loop every single week. And I saw someone talking about it online actually recently. It's like you're living the same week over and over again. And for a year from now, nothing will have changed because you've lived the exact same week. Yeah, you've done nothing. You've just lived the exact same week over and over again. So bad habits like drinking are a prime example of keeping you in that loop, because it's just, I'm going to do what I can to get my money to drink. I'm going to do what I can to get my money to drink.
And it can be so actually almost stupidly simple.
Yeah.
For example, say you wake up tomorrow morning, brush your teeth with the other hand.
Yeah.
Like, do you know
I've
what I
actually
mean?
seen people say that.
Like
Yeah.
people were just doing it like autopilot, but then just quickly become conscious in that moment and go, nah, you know what? Bang.
An example of where you'll have noticed that in your own life is like whenever a big shocking event happens, like something sad or whatever, like something shocking happens, it changes everything. Your whole day the next day changes, and a lot of people reflect in those moments. It's like you were saying, people need the boiling point. For a lot of people, like something like a heartbreak or something like that is the boiling point. But and they'll do that when that happens. But taking your own authority, your own autonomy, because if that happens, you might actually then just go back into another loop. But that is like a brief moment of having a very high internal locus of control, because everything's changed. You're thinking like, right, what am I going to do? So that's an example where it just comes out of nowhere and you've suddenly got a high internal locus of control. But you might then go back into a loop. So there's ways of building up to it without needing to go through something traumatic, essentially.
Yeah, even if it's like, say the loop, you do something really small, brush your teeth with the other hand, it, like, that's just showing you broke the loop, but then you can get sucked back into it. But then it's just like, each time it gets that part, do something else until the loop's massive.
It's like breaking a habit. Like even in that Atomic Habits, it's like one day missed from your habit is a mistake. 2 days in a row is the start of a new habit. Like you've got to actively build a new habit. Or like, to use Bruce's example, if you suddenly one day go like, oh, I'm going to brush my teeth with the left hand, right? You feel all different that day, and then you just go in the habit of brushing with the left hand.
Have you ever done that before?
Another habit? No.
Yeah, it is actually pretty cool.
I think it'd be hard to do. Like,
no, yeah, it's really hard. It feels so weird. It feels wrong, and so badly you want to switch back to the other hand.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah.
You do. And then the final one, the last one to round us up, was the implementation intentions. So what that means is taking any business intention you want, like practice this at home. Think of any business intention you have, a business that you want to start, any entrepreneurial intention you have, which is what it's called, and just apply a scenario to that. So what this is, it's a psychological thing, mainly to deal with fear of failure and different fears. But it basically just takes the stress, the pressure off of you and places it onto the environment. So like, say you want to start a car detailing business. You can actually take action before you rely on the implementation intentions. So you can like go and like say go to 10 doors and say if you get a customer then you'll do it. But on top of that, just say like, right, if I get £50, so say you're like saving up your money, like if I get £50 of savings, I will buy the equipment and I'll go and do that detailing business. So anything like that, just apply.
No, but see, you said, that's why I would tweak it. You said, if I get the £50 of savings, do something to work towards it.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Don't put an F on it.
Yeah, well, this is just based on a psychological thing for dealing with fear of failure. You do the F in order to place it onto the environment, takes the pressure off of you. But like I said just before that, you can do it the other way. You can do the action first to deal with the to get the implementation intention. So you can go and speak to say 10 people around you in your area, ask them if they. Yeah, we're getting a lot of suspicious looks. So you can do it like what Bruce is saying, the action first. You can go and say you're, again, to use the car detailing example, go to 10 doors just around you once you've got the equipment and just say to them, do you want car detailing? And then your if is, if I get a yes from someone, I'll then start doing it, charge them £10, and that's you started. So you can't, if you've got the confidence to take that small action and then apply an if, do that one. But if you don't, then just apply the if. Just say, right, if I get the £50, I'll do it. So there's two ways you can do it. You can take a bit of action first, then apply the if, or you can just apply the if. But the whole point of that is just to make it subconscious and just a kind of automatic thing that when this situation happens, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a countdown. Like when you're standing at the edge of a cliff and you're going to jump in the water, like if you do like cliff diving. And you do a countdown, 3, 2, 1. The reason, thank you, we're getting some support from the locals now. But yeah, like if you're like about to do like, because when we were younger, I think Bruce used to do it as well. Like we would go like cliff jumping. So there's that's a psychological thing as well, doing the countdown. Either 3, 2, 1, and you jump, because in your head it's not like because people
that's
can.
What Steve-O used to say.
Yeah, people can overthink so easily, and like when you overthink something in your head, it can go everywhere. But if you just take it from, oh, I'm going to do this now. Oh no, I'm too scared. Oh no, I'm too cold, and you make up all these excuses. Instead, it's just right. When I get to 0, I'm jumping. It becomes automatic in your brain. So it's like 3, 2, 1, and you're doing it. So it's like that. And then people use that even to get out of bed early in the morning. They go 3, 2, 1, and then they get up. It just makes it automatic. So it's applying that same principle to business. If there's something that you can apply in the external environment that makes it automatic, you then instantly do it.
Yeah. So quickly to wrap it up. An actionable step for the person watching this. What can they end this podcast? Instead of going to the next video and repeating the loop of watching more motivational shite.
Watch more of our videos though.
Yeah, do that and subscribe. But, okay, I'm going to give 2 actionable steps. 1, analyse your life and why it's not what you want. Figure out what's better than it. And 2, break the loop tonight. Even if it's something so stupid. Wipe your arse with the other hand, brush your teeth with the other hand. I don't know. Yeah, anyway.
My advice, actionable step would be take, like I've said this before, but just take like a what's the word? Like an analysis of your life. But I'm trying to think of a better word.
Run with it.
Yeah, right, okay. Is it called like a bookkeep? Anyway, take like an analysis of your life. Like sit down, like, right, the job I'm in, why am I in it? What's led to it? Is this for me? Is this my calling? Just take like a stock, I almost had the word, stockpile. Someone probably knows the word. Give us a comment if you know the word. But take just like an analysis, a rundown of your life and why you're doing what you're doing, all of that, and just reflect on it. Just reflect, right, is this what I should be doing? What can I change? And then if you're wanting to change it, next step, if you want to do this, imply an implementation intention. Like think, right, how can I take that the next step to one of the things you want to change? So, I think that's us for today. The sun is just setting.
You probably can't even see us.
Probably can't see us. Well, you probably can just. There's some lights on us. But the sun is setting here in Danang. We're going to go and edit this video. Hopefully, we will have a guest next week. We've got someone lined up and confident, hopeful that they're not going to bail this time. So we'll be back next week with another guest, and we should have a bit more structure going forward because we've now kind of found these trends, and we're not going to do it like a kind of like formula every time, but these trends will help like influence our questions to kind of weigh each person against the benchmark of like what has been shown to help people start businesses. So we'll give a lot more kind of in-depth questions in our next episodes. But thank you for watching.
Yeah, remember to like, subscribe to this channel, my channel, Aidan's channel, follow my Instagram, follow Aidan's Instagram, and if you need some help wanting to become the guy, the level 100 character who's able to take action and actually go after the life he wants, message me level 100 Instagram. Over and out. Boof.
Peace. That was good.
I've got to drop a little plug in there.
How long?
Stay still working on it.